Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of Create Expectations. So, if you haven't watched part one, you need to go to Zareth's channel, which is linked below, and you can watch part one to not be confused, and then come back. Always
Right.
come back.
Well, absolutely. And I
Yeah,
can't guarantee that you guys won't be confused afterward, actually, but because most of you
fair,
won't be.
fair.
I have no way of knowing where they're at in life, so
Right. Well,
yeah,
it's fine. We can try and help. Maybe
try.
try. So I think we should do this character review because why not? Boba Fett.
Boba and his
Boba.
feats.
Yeah. It's little
Boba has,
feeties.
yeah, yep.
All
Yeah,
right.
so he has feet, but they're not really part of his kit that much. So, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts on Boba Fett? A lot of people have him at Relic 8 now for executor reasons. Do you
Right.
regret you have him at Relic 8? Do you regret him there?
No, I don't think so.
So, how do you use Boba Fett? Because I know that your bounty hunters are something you're working on,
Hmm.
but they're not at a super awesome level yet. They will be, and I have a lack of faith in you in a lot of other things, but not that. So
Rude. So rude.
I'm trying to
Okay.
get you ready for the roster roast, which is
Fair. So I mainly use my bounty hunters in Conquest, everyone's favorite game mode. Um, I don't really use them in Grand Arena a lot because they're not sorted properly yet, so they're not useful to me quite yet. Um, it's probably pretty bad that I only use them in Conquest. And then obviously my Executor fleet's being used. And then sometimes
sure.
if I'm bored and I want to do Dark Side Territory battles, then I will. And sometimes I'll take them in for fun, just to see what will happen.
That's fair. So what do you do on GAC?
Oh, they go on defense.
It's really
I
sad,
know. I know.
actually.
I
That
know.
makes me really sad to hear that. But
I
you're
know.
you're getting Aura ready, and then they'll be on offense, is my guess.
Right. Then we'll figure out what I
Yeah,
need to do with my bounty hunting life.
that's fair. Yeah, so a couple things about
Mhm.
Boba Fett. I love that we had to relegate him on some levels. I'm also sad because it means everyone else is going to have relegate because he was already targeted as a high relic. I'd probably only get him to 7, frankly. So it's that relic 8 boost though gives him so much. There's so many cool things. So let's see things that people don't know. Like I've talked to, and this isn't everyone obviously, but
Mhm.
one thing that I want to point out: people wonder why he sometimes hits like twice and sometimes doesn't. The
Mhm.
thing is, so he's always got a chance to hit a second time, 50% chance to shoot a second time. But against the scoundrels, against anyone who's a scoundrel, so like bounty hunters or other scoundrels,
Cat.
he'll
Fun.
always yeah, well, CAD is one that people wouldn't necessarily think of, but yeah, like his basic always hits twice. So sometimes it's going to be better to use his basic.
Mhm.
It doesn't necessarily do less damage than well, I mean his execute is great, but sometimes it's like well they don't have enough buffs on them to really be warranted. And
Right.
then you can realize, oh, but he can target outside of taunt. He can ignore taunt as long as he got bounty hunter's resolve. And
Mhm.
so he can choose who he's targeting. And a lot of random squads have extra scoundrels, like the rebels team with Commander Luke.
Mhm.
They have a bunch of scoundrels.
Totally.
Yeah. So I mean, well, I guess a bunch. Like it
Two.
has right, two, but I mean, they're the first, like the Chewie's the one you want to target anyways. So
Yeah.
not that you would necessarily be taking Boba Fett against that team, but I mean, it's like there's a lot of surprising, as you pointed it out, Cat is one that you're like, oh,
Right.
you are on fighting a Padme team, and there's actually a scoundrel on it.
Right. Exactly.
So, I mean, that's one that people don't remember. Another one that is actually, I use this to really good effect on my alt, especially when I'm trying to get a lot of mileage out of this team,
Mm-hmm.
is so you do the ability block with an AoE, and
Yeah.
that's wonderful. The thing is, because he can target outside of taunt,
Mm-hmm.
you can target whoever, obviously, unless they're in stealth. He can target whoever, uh, and then you actually inflict damage, or you inflict ability block on the selected target for 2 turns.
Mm-hmm. Which is
Uh,
perfect in
right. Oh,
Conquest,
sure. Oh yeah.
where I use him.
And in Conquest, I just have what I have a doohickey thing, whatever they're called, the little chip thing,
The data
di-
disc?
a disc, yeah,
Right.
that does it for me. So it's not as
Ah,
relevant for me, but
right. Well, I don't
I'm
go for
lazy.
that one. Yeah,
Oh, well,
you
that's
said
nice
it.
to hear that you're too good for me, too good for it. But here's the thing: inflict ability block. So this is actually different. So deal physical damage to all enemies with an 80% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn, and and then you can do a damage over time. So 80% chance, but this is different on the targeted one. This
Mhm.
is just inflict ability block. So as long as you pass the potency and versus tenacity check,
Mhm.
then you're going to get this. It's not an 80% chance to proc. It's one less hoop you have to jump through.
Right.
So he might get ability block on everyone. He might not, because I mean there's so many different checks you have to make. But
Mhm.
with this one, it's just straight up inflict it as long as you pass the check.
Yeah, exactly. On the targeted
Yep.
person.
So and that's something that I see a lot of people just totally ignoring. It's not always super relevant, but it's like, man, if I can ability block a Galactic Legend for 2 turns instead of one, that
Mhm.
is worth money. It's really good.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, because especially because bounty hunters are so good at cleaning up galactic legends, like lone
Right.
galactic legends. So, yeah, I mean, if it's a lone galactic legend, then you have no choice but to target him. So, I guess it's not as great. Like people accidentally do it all the time, but
Mhm.
it is something to be thinking about. Yeah. What else?
I was just gonna say, in Conquest, I always use it to ability block Echo
That's
all the
fair.
time, all the time, and then you just walk through the team
Fancy.
and you walk through the sectors. It's great.
Just walk through as long as they have Echo on the team.
Right.
Which Echo?
Bad
Bad Batch
Batch Echo.
Echo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not General Skywalker 501st Echo.
No. No. Bad Batch
Well,
Echo.
honestly, I said
I
that a
mean,
little bit ironically because honestly, like I genuinely asked that because the first thing I thought of was 501st Echo.
no, which is fair.
Yeah. So, anyways, he's a good character. He does a lot of damage. The thing that people need to realize with execute,
Yeah.
like one of the best abilities in the game, frankly. So,
Hmm.
deal 30% more damage for each effect dispelled. So, this is dispel all buffs and debuffs on them. 30% more damage, which is crazy. Like, you only need a couple buffs on him. At Relic 8,
Hmm.
he just goes crazy. If it defeats a target, they can't be revived, which is super handy to have. It
Hmm.
reduces his cooldowns by 1, and otherwise, it inflicts healing immunity.
Right.
Like, the healing immunity is one that I see people, like, not taking advantage of a lot, too. It's like, uh, even if they don't have buffs on them, sometimes you just want it so that they can't heal themselves, and then the rest of your team can just gut them down.
Right.
So just something to be thinking about. This is a multi-use ability. It's not just something that you use if you want to execute, so take someone out. If you want to
Hmm.
rexecute them, so to speak. So,
Not a Rexecute because it's not
right.
Rex.
Okay, so real quick, modding.
Yeah.
I like to put crit damage on him and
Hmm.
potency. Those are my favorites. And honestly, this cross should probably be potency because that ability block is
Hmm.
extremely important, and healing immunity is arguably even more important than the ability block.
What's his cross right now? My head's blocking it.
Oh, it's offense is
Okay.
what I have right now.
Hmm.
Though I do have a set. I have a potency set. Obviously, you can see that.
Hmm.
And so his potency is 81. It would be nice though. You could get it over 100% to make it so that you proc it on most other characters.
Right.
It's a really nice thing. And then crit damage. I mean, his natural crit chance is high enough that you're gonna basically, unless they have a really good crit avoid. You're going to basically crit every time anyways, unless, well, there's exceptions, obviously, but he's a good most people, like a lot of characters, really want offense sets. It is
Hmm.
nice to have a character that you can put one of your good crit damage sets on.
Right.
And he doesn't have a lot of turn meter mechanics boosting, so having actual raw speed on him is nice. You don't have to put much, but, you know.
A little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anything else about Boba
I don't think so.
and his
I mean,
foot?
it's fun. I think what I like in general just about him is he kind of felt like he fell by the wayside in a way and then just got completely revitalized.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Like for a long time, it's like, oh, I guess you could go with Darth Vader to generate more dots or
Right.
something.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think, and his ship is way more relevant now.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a great point. Ooh, here's a bonus question, and there's actually not a right or wrong answer, honestly.
Hmm.
But do you think his Zeta is worthwhile? Do you know what it is? Does even?
I can't even remember what it does.
Okay, so you know how Django, when he kills someone, he
Yeah.
re- you know Django
Okay. Yeah.
especially well because of the. So when he kills someone, he gets all of his health and protection back.
Right.
And Boba needs a Zeta to do the protection part of it.
Mm. Why wouldn't
So,
you do that?
well, so it's someone accused me once of saying
Hmm.
I said it was a bad Zeta a long time ago, and you can see my main account actually has the Zeta on him, anyways.
Hmm.
It's the Bounty Hunter's Resolve thing, I think. Yeah, recover
Yeah.
100% protection on a finishing blow. The thing is, they were like, how is it bad? Like, it adds to the team. It makes him better in some circumstances. I mean, and I thought that was a fairly shallow interpretation of what I was saying. But it doesn't like actively hurt him. It's not like, oh my gosh, I applied the Zeta. Oops, like that was a mistake. I mean, it could be a mistake because of it's like, well, you want 6 Zetas for your Galactic Legends. You want 6. You want 3 on Cat. You want 2 on or 3 on Darth Revan. You want 2 on Mal, etc. Like tons of other Zetas that are a billion times more useful than
Hmm.
this. But if you're like me and you have a ton of Zetas already applied, and now I use Boba all the time,
Why
it's
wouldn't you?
fine. Yeah, and it has good use in GAC because if he finishes someone off, then he'll get his full banners.
Right. Right.
So this shouldn't be one of your first 100 Zetas, though, in my opinion.
It's a luxury Zeta.
It's a fairly potent one in
Hmm.
certain circumstances, but at the end of the day, it's just one banner in GAC, which can make a big difference. But uh, you know, it usually isn't going to move you into a win or loss based on it.
True. Tell that to someone who ties.
I said generally, so they can just suck it. But anyways, I think I'm done. I'm good with Boba. If you
You're
are.
good with Boba? Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. One last thing.
Yeah.
His lead. So don't look at all of the weird random like potency of all bounty hunter ally. Like
Hmm.
that stuff is all kind of just fluff. It's okay, but he is a really good generalized lead
Hmm.
for a team if you need to do like a build a bear kind of thing, like just like make a random team. Giving all allies extra 50% critical damage and more crit chance, and that's just all allies.
Hmm.
Which is really really potent. Like, if Wampa's going to be critting a lot, for instance, having him be the lead for a Wampa team,
Right.
it can be really good. Like it's situational, but it's very worth mentioning in my opinion,
Yeah. That's a good point.
especially for
Well,
3v3.
yeah. Yeah. Good point. If we go back to that.
Gosh, and now we've talked about Boba for like almost 15 minutes.
All right. So if you're good, then do you want to look
Hmm.
at the viewer question? I don't know if you want to stay in the game for it. It's
You're
about crystals.
you're really dreading that roster roast, aren't you?
Maybe I'm just making people wait for it.
We could go back to the overlay. Yeah, let's do the viewer question.
All right. So Mark Anderson wants to know what we spend our crystals on beyond refreshes. So he explained, like, he has no trouble making first in Ship Arena. He's in Kyber 2 for GAC. Um, and he can't think of anything of value that would move his roster forward. So he's got 3 Galactic Legends. He's farming for C, farming Bad Batch, but he I guess, is saying like it's 20,000 crystals to gear one character to gear 12. And it's 18,000 to take a marquee to 7 stars. And none of it seems worth it to spend the crystals on.
Okay.
So,
What's your answer?
so obviously I do spend it on refreshes. Like, that's the first thing.
Do you do all of the refreshes?
I will do in a day 3 Cantina refreshes, 3 regular energy refreshes, 3 or 4 or 5 Conquest energy refreshes,
Sure.
and 2 mod energy. So I don't do anything on ships.
Okay.
And then I refresh 3 character nodes right now as well.
That's fair for 25.
Yeah. So I'm spending quite a few crystals a day. And then usually what I will spend them on is, if I am gearing a character, Kairos. If all I need is Kairos to take them to the next gear level, then I'll top it up. I will buy in the weekly store I haven't bought in it recently because of the gear changes, but I used to buy the Mark V stun gun prototype for 1,274 crystals, because
Yeah.
it was 26 crystals cheaper than buying 50 stun gun salvage.
Yeah. No, I did it too. Yeah.
So I would buy that. And then other than that, I honestly buy I think it's the blue signal data. Is that the highest one? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a debate of whether the most common one is blue or gray, but yeah, I think the
The
obvious blue one, yeah.
Yeah, the obvious blue one, the swirl, like not the square one. Because I hate farming that one. The drop rate on it is atrocious, that I would rather spend my crystals to buy it.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty equivalent for you to spend money on refreshes versus spending money on that. So,
Right. Well, I'll spend my refreshes on the other 2 and then buy that
yep.
as I need it.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I think those are all good ones to do. One thing I'll point out is, in general, doing refreshes on the nodes, on all the different energies, are going to be the best way to farm gear in terms of crystal, like getting crystals back, like saving crystals. So, like, even on ships, even though the drop rates are a little bit worse on the Gear 12 stuff, it's still more cost effective to spend on 3 refreshes in ships than it is to actually buy the piece in the store.
Right. And just farm it
So,
off the node.
right. So on my main account, I do 3 refreshes on Cantina, 3 on Energy. I do 3 on all of them, basically.
Right.
And, then on Conquest as needed, at least 3 during Conquest until it's done. Generally, I do 6 because I hate Conquest. When I get done with it, I don't think it's cost effective. But I do that on my main at least. And then other uses for your crystals, the stun gun thing, I used to do that, though. As you say, it's not as necessary. I think the best bang for your buck is going to be those gold pieces, like the gold ball pieces. Not the salvage, the stuff that you get in the challenges, the stuff that you get, like the prototypes. And now I guess we're getting some prototypes, at least the gold balls we are, right?
Right.
But those are the best bang for your buck in terms of full pieces, because it's only 750 crystals for a full piece, and those actually have worse farm rates, like worse drop rates than the purple pieces. Like if you wanted to farm Carbanti or stun guns, for
Mhm.
instance, those have better drop rates than the gold pieces.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I spend it on. Are refreshes, and then like on my alt, I'll every once in a while I'll be like, man, I just don't have this piece of gear, and I really want to get this character moving. So whatever piece of gear it is, I just
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
for
Like
it.
I find that if I don't want to say rage gearing, but if I'm rage gearing somebody for something and it's available, I'm gonna do it.
Sure, yeah, I just spend it and go
Yeah.
move on. Yeah, so that's what I do with my crystals. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I mean, realistically, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is if you're not spending them, what are you using them for then? Like you're just
right,
not progressing your roster if you're not using them, in
right.
my opinion.
Well, so a lot of people will, like a lot of free to play players, like who have a pretty advanced roster, will just hoard them till they get
Right.
to 30K, and then or more even. Some people have way more crystals, and then they just throw them all into X
Wh-
thing. But
Right. Into whichever character. But what about your characters that you have now? I'm not saying that that's a bad strategy. I'm just saying, what about
well,
now?
well, yeah, I think in general,
Mhm.
people should be answering the now rather than what if. But I do think there's a certain amount of wisdom to hoarding some crystals. I'm trying to, ineffectively, I should add, trying to hoard some on my alt. So,
Oh,
you know,
oops.
it's all good. So, all right. Should we
All
do
right.
the thing that you're not, your least favorite part?
That I'm not good at the roster roast.
Yeah,
All right, we're here.
we
Oh
are
boy.
indeed. Yeah,
Oh,
here, let's hide our faces for just a
okay.
sec.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're roasting Jimbo here,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that they have the little quotes, the air quotes, Moss Eisley Cantina. It's like they know it's not really
Yeah.
the cantina, but yeah. So,
All right.
let's. What do you want to look at first, Sarah?
I don't know. You can pick. I'll just follow the bouncing ball.
So, all right, 61 or 6.1 million GP,
Okay.
almost 6.2.
Mm-hmm.
Three Galactic Legends.
Mm-hmm. Three good Galactic Legends.
Yeah, actually, like they're like the top end, like
Yeah.
the three hardest to get, I would say.
Yeah. That's
So that's a
some.
lot of effort to get only three, but
Mhm. I was gonna say that's some focus. We're starting the roast out well over here.
yeah. So okay, Jedi Training Ray,
Okay.
take the Zeta off of Boba Fett and hand it to Jedi Training Ray. Give her all three of them.
Yeah. She needs. Yeah.
She wants all three. I bet the one that they have. I bet it's the short sighted. Yeah, like this is the
Purchase.
one.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that when she gets a debuff, then it has a 40% chance to dispel.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, that one sucks. It's not good." And that's false. It is so helpful if she's ability blocked.
Yeah.
And she can't consistently be stunned or ability blocked. She is way, way more difficult to control. And
Mm-hmm.
usually, when you're putting a ton of debuffs, or a debuff on her, you're
Mm-hmm.
putting multiple debuffs. A lot of characters have that, and so she has multiple attempts to just dispel all of them.
Yeah.
So, stop doing the two zetas and good thing. That's not gonna work for you.
I'm just laughing because uh I wailed for Jedi training, right? Shocker to nobody. And yeah, as soon as I got her, she was gear 12, triple zeta.
Nice. And gear
Right.
12 because you couldn't get her more than that.
Right.
Cool.
Correct.
So,
Okay.
uh,
Sorry.
random mob enforcer at 37.
Ooh.
It's
Ooh.
interesting.
The armorer.
Yeah.
Especially Jimbo,
Seven
you're going
star.
for C. You're farming C tickets right now.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're
Jimbo.
Yeah, Armor is such a good babysitter for Sith Eternal. Like she's like the
Oh,
one teammate he wants, unless it's Watt. She's the one teammate he wants.
Jesus. Put some gear on armor. Oh man, that hurts.
Oh my god. Okay,
Okay.
so no Nice Sisters. An
No.
emphatic 0 on the Nice Sisters. That's embarrassing as well.
Oh my gosh,
How,
and Darth Nihilus.
okay.
Okay.
The cool thing is I don't have to
Why
find a
does
way to
Jedi
spin it
Consular?
positively.
Sorry?
I don't have to try to spin this positively. Like that's a horrifyingly bad choice.
Why does Jedi Consular have more gear or more levels? More gear and
And
more
more gear.
levels than Darth Nihilus.
Asking the right questions here, Sarah. Darth Nihilus not having anything on him at 6.1 is crazy, and I'm sad. I'm not, because it gives us good material here, but all
Okay.
right. All right, so moving on to more relevant parts of the roster. Let's see.
Hmm.
Hoth Rebel Scout has nothing, so I guess you don't want a good Mon Mothma team. Kyle Katarn has some, which means,
Right.
like, why would he have B Gear 9 if your Hoth Rebel Scout isn't geared? Like, you need him to make Kyle Katarn's team good.
Okay.
Um, let's
Oh
see.
man.
Oh, man. Well, okay, so you don't... Message received. You
No
don't want Night Sisters at all.
hmm
But why is Zombie Gear 8 when you have a Gear 0 Telzin?
hmm
And, oh, geez. Okay, so Hero Poe, Hero Finn, both have Zetas at Gear, like, 2.
Is that a fluff Zeta? Or were those like distraction Zetas?
So Hero Finn's is good. Poe's is good as well. It's not as relevant, but yeah, you want both of them if you're going to run that team.
Sorry. When I say fluff, I mean you fluffed your roster GP for
Oh,
territory battle deployment. That's how I fluff mine. I just start throwing Zetas around like candy.
well, that's disgusting for other reasons, but
Yeah.
resist. Yeah, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Well, it's not,
This makes
but
me feel a lot better though about my Gear 8 Xeris. So
yeah. Oh, she's actually a little bit useful at Gear 8 there because at least she's passively helping other people. This does nothing. They're 7 stars. Like get them like Gear 8. They're actually usable at Gear 8. Like Gear 2 or 3. I'm like just gonna keep cringing if we keep
okay.
looking. So we
So
gotta keep moving.
Scion has some gear on him,
Some, yep.
but Nihilus doesn't. Where's Treya?
I don't know. I'm afraid to look. Treya. Oh, she's got a Zeta at least. Yay.
Okay. But like no gear at all on Nihilus.
Right. Oh, okay. So let's look at Sith in
Okay.
just a minute here.
Okay.
This is the saddest thing ever. We have Tusken Raider at Relic 5, right next to someone who looks like a Tusken Raider but is way better as Enfys Nest. Enfys Nest has a Zeta and is only Gear 11. That makes me sad too.
Okay.
Okay, should we look at Sith?
Oh yeah. Just saw the gold BB-8.
I agree with them on that one. But
Hey.
so some gear or some Sith geared. I don't even know what to, so you just don't want the Treya team?
They're so much fun though.
Yeah. Darth Talon, you at least get her up to something like get her to the point where she can boost your Darth Revan speed if you need it.
Oh man.
Also, Relic 7 on Lord Vader, he needs all the relics. Every relic you can possibly muster. Like, Relic 8 on Dooku is so embarrassing next to a Relic 7 on Lord Vader. Like, your target should be him at your second or third relic 9. So like relic 7 is not awesome. Okay, I think I'm probably all played out here.
Okay.
Let's look at his Jolie and just see what he does with Jolie for modding. Just in case.
This is your forte.
This is like the litmus test on modding. And it failed. Okay, you need tenacity on Jolie. Read his kit. Like, it's very important.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimbo, for letting us roast your
Yeah.
roster. Your very roastable roster.
And put gear on armor.
Like, yeah. If Sarah is saying it, like, emphatically, you need to do it. All right.
All right.
We are way out of time. Should we
Okay.
call it good?
That's it. That's all. That's everything. Right?
All right. Yeah, guys. Hit sub on Sarah's channel if you haven't already. Just do it. She's good, doing great. She's doing really great things on it.
Well said.
Thanks. Like you're doing a good walkthrough on all the conquest stuff. It's good.
Yeah. There's going to be tons of conquest stuff.
Tons of it.
Tons
Love
of it. All the conquest.
Love me some conquest. Mm-hmm.
Liar. All right.
All right.
That's it. Let's wrap it up.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.
Thanks.